With the tile done, it's time to set the walls for the mechanical room. These walls are very important because that's where we're going to be putting all the electrical panels, the plumbing, anything you can think of. So let's get into it. Let's start with some history as to how this mechanical room came to be. The first time I looked at the plans from the engineer, this was supposed to be a crawl space. It was going to be like 2 feet or 3 feet high. And the moment I looked at it, I said, dude, this is such a tremendous waste of space. And foundations cost money. So why don't we just make this a little bit taller, and then we can turn it into a mechanical room. And when we said taller, we wanted to make this height less than 7 feet. And that 7 feet is an important number because below that is not livable space, above that is livable. And there's some important differences, at least for the mechanical room and crawl spaces overall. If it's a livable space, you would need an egress window, which costs money. And then if it's livable, you also have that square footage count towards the square footage of the house, which means you pay taxes for it. So we didn't want either one of those. So we made this height 6'8", or basically right below 7. And that way we make this a nice mechanical room that's comfortable, but we don't pay taxes and we don't have an expensive egress window. So that's it. Let's talk about how we're setting the walls. Okay, so the plan is to attach soft floor to these walls, and then we'll have drywall so that it looks nice. So the way we're doing this is we're putting this 2x pressure-treated lumber against the wall. The reason we're doing this is because the wall is so full of imperfections, bumps, whatever. So instead of cleaning it, it's much easier to put these 2x's. By the way, all these imperfections, they come from the forms when they made the concrete foundation. While these 2x's, they basically filter out the noise of all these bumps. So it might not be necessarily super flat, but it'll look much better than with all these bumps. So the way we're doing this is we initially started doing this with ramsets, and ramsets are also designed to be used in concrete. The problem is we found that these ramsets, some of them, once we were inserting them, they were coming out super easily, and that didn't give us much confidence for attachment. So we decided to change, and we are using now these anchors. So basically, these are used for seal plates and all that kind of stuff. And we are putting these on all the studs, and we are putting them instead of every 6 or 8 inches that we were doing the ramsets, we are putting them every 2 feet or so. And these things are tanks. These things are going nowhere. Basically, the way the anchor works is this goes in and this expands once it's inside, and there's no chance this is coming out. So you can see here one that we put later, now with only anchors, versus the ones that we did with ramsets. And now that you can see this, we are also attaching Advantech 3/4 inch soft floor. And we are screwing these to all these 2x's that are basically our nailers. The reason we're doing this is because we need a very nice and strong, sturdy way to attach stuff to the walls. We're putting this soft floor, then we'll be adding drywall so that it looks nice. But we want the sturdiness because we're going to have solar batteries, electrical panels, plumbing, who knows what we'll have. So we want to be ready for that. So let's move along on the process, and then I'll show you a little bit more. So we're getting done to finishing installing the soft floor around the walls, but I wanted to show you this very cool trick that we've already shown you for making holes for outlets, and that is to use lipstick to make very precise holes. So we have these nuts that are anchors to the concrete, and they're basically in the way of the soft floor, so we want to make a nice precise hole about it. And this method is very simple. You just grab some lipstick. This thing is like $1. You put it in like this. You basically put it everywhere that you want to, and then you just bang it a couple times and then make the hole, and it's really quick, really fast, and very precise. I highly recommend it, so check this out. As you can see, we have installed all of the drywall. We're just missing a few screws before we move on, but this is a good spot to stop and show you a few different things. Let's talk about our tools first off, because we didn't show them to you on the previous video we made related to drywall. We're using this DeWalt drywall gun. It's pretty nice. It seems to have some kind of clutch. When you push, it screws very nicely. And then once it has the strength, the appropriate strength, it basically lets go. Next, let's talk about drywall router, which is what we have here. This is also the DeWalt router. We use this to make holes similar to this one, where we have the plumbing and electrical and all that stuff. We use DeWalt basically because we're kind of married to the tools, to the batteries. I mean, batteries are so expensive that it's not worth switching tools anyway. Cool. So now let's talk a little bit about screws. I know the typical drywall screw is about 1.5 inches, but that's also typically for drywall that's 1/2 inch thick. But when you move up to the 5/8, even though you have 1/8 extra, it is highly recommended that you use 2-inch drywall screws. And so that's basically what we have here. I bought a big box of drywall screws for that. And now I also want to show you another trick that we learned from our friends, the Stud Pack, Paul, basically. And that's basically how to make a nice little detail at the bottom and at the top. So basically what we've done is we let the drywall run long, and then using this zip sheeting panel, we basically used it all around the perimeter to cut it at this height, basically 7/16, so that we have a nice little reveal down here. And the reason we do that is because we want to be parallel to the floor, not necessarily level. So if the floor is not straight, we want to be parallel to it so that it looks straight. We are using the same technique for the roof, except we basically screw this little stick up here, and then we run the oscillating saw around the perimeter. And so with that said, I think we are in pretty good shape now. Let's finish some screws and let's begin mudding.
We are at the very last stages of the drywall. So at this point we have applied corner bead in all the corners and all the edges that we consider necessary, including some of the openings. And then we have also done our mudding. So the first layer obviously includes the tape on all the joints, and we have applied the first layer with the 3-inch knife. Then we wait 24 hours and then we sand it. And then we apply the second layer. Now we use the 6-inch knife. Yet again, we wait 24 hours and we sand it. And then the last layer with the 12-inch knife. So right now what we need to do is sanding for the last layer, and then we can transition to painting. So check out our mechanical room. It's finally finished and it's looking amazing. It's super bright. So if you remember our previous episodes, like from the tile, this is the same lamp that we were using and everything looked dark, like a dungeon. And look at this now, it's super nice and bright. So we're pretty much finished. We applied all the OSB behind the wall, then the drywall. This wood right here, we're going to finish it. We don't know if we're going to stain it or if we're going to paint it, but we want to wait until we pass inspection so that the inspector can see that it's pressure treated wood. We also finished the gaps that are looking really good. The one at the bottom, if you remember, it's to decouple everything. And then the one on the top we needed because we cannot finish drywall until we pass inspection, because we're going to have plumbing, electrical, and a bunch of stuff going in there. So that's what we have. We use the same paint that we use in the shed, and we're pretty happy. It's this one. I believe it's a Lowe's exclusive. It's from HGTV edition or whatever. And with 2 layers, it's looking super nice and bright. So that's what we have for you today. If you like this episode, please consider giving us a like and subscribe to our channel. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye bye!